But let's go ahead and move on to topic number 5, guys. And I cannot wait to hear what you guys have to say about this. And that is, unfortunately, it looks like Warner Brothers is deciding to move on. You know, they're making different plans with their DCEU, and Ava DuVernay and James Wan will no longer be, or at least right now, the New Gods and their Trench movie is not going to be moving forward. And I have the report right here from the Hollywood Reporter. It says Ava DuVernay's New Gods, James Wan's The Trench DC movie is not moving forward at Warner Brothers. And so I'm really eager to hear what all of you gentlemen have to say. And I'm going to come to Eman first on this one. But before I do, it says, as a part of our DC slate, some legacy development titles, including New Gods and The Trench, will not be moving forward. Warner Brothers and DC said in a statement, we thank our partners Ava DuVernay, Tom King, James Wan, and Peter Safran for their time and collaboration during this process, and look forward to our continued partnership with them on other DC stories. I just got to read that again. And look forward to our continued partnership with them on other DC stories. The projects will remain in their skillful hands if they were to move forward in the future. Like I said, Eman, I'm coming to you next, sir. How are you feeling about this of Ava DuVernay and James Wan's films, New Gods and the Trench movies not moving forward over at Warner Brothers?
Look, I'm kind of mixed, right? So first, let's start with the Trench. I'm a James Wan fan as a director. This man is literally, I've called him this every time. He is this centuries, this generation's Wes Craven when it comes to the innovation that he puts into the direction of his films. So when it came to, like, you know, the news of the Trench, I was like, you know what? I really don't need that to be stretched out from Aquaman. However, if it's James Wan and he's coming to be in the director's seat and he's making it a horror, you've got my attention. So I'm a little disappointed if he was going to be directing it and it's not happening. That part I'm disappointed in. But if it was just something to be like, oh, he's producing it and whatever, then I don't really care. Because the Trench, they were cool for Aquaman, but it's not something I really needed to learn more about and dig deeper into. When it comes to Ava, first of all, Queen Ava is amazing. I love what she does. But after seeing A Wrinkle in Time, I gotta say, it put some doubts in my mind. It put a couple of doubts in my mind when I saw her handle the fantasy. Now, in fairness, A Wrinkle in Time, I don't know who would be able to make that story come to life on screen. That's one of those stories that you have to read it to get it, and it might just need to stay in books. So that was a tough project to begin with. But I'm so disappointed that we're not getting a story about New Gods either, because that's just another element of the DC universe that we would love to be able to see. We would be able to get to see Euxis or Darkseid or whoever, you know, whatever depiction we want to go with. And there's like some really good stuff there that could be happening. So I'm disappointed we're not getting like that little extension of the DCEU. It's a little disappointing that, you know, Ava wasn't able to do something with it, but, you know, we'll wait and see what happens from here.
Right on. Lamont, I'm coming to you, sir.
Ava, you didn't have a whole lot of faith in Ava DuVernay being able to do the comic for New God. I did. Even though she messed up on Wrinkle in Time, I had faith. I stood by her. I had faith. And the reason being is that, as Eman said, the story arc with the New Gods is so rich. You're talking about Darkseid giving up his newborn child to the New Gods as a peace treaty. And he goes and destroys all these other worlds and leaves New God alone, which should just tell you how powerful the New Gods are. Hell, Darkseid technically is a New God, but they had some things in place to neutralize his ass. So I wanted to see how she was going to put these things on screen. So I'm very disappointed in that. But the way it read, it makes me feel that maybe her and James Wan both already got paid, and that the partnership is still in place, and that something is going to be done down the road. But for the moment, maybe Warner Brothers want things to die down with the DC universe. Maybe they're in negotiations.
Stop the presses.
Yeah.
Stop the presses.
Whoa. Call 911.
I might have to do a dance for you, bro.
Man, wow. Me too. Hey,
wow.
let's give him that Zemo. I'm gonna give it.
Oh man, that's Papa Avery right there.
Hit him with the Zemo.
That's Harvey Avery. I should have
hit him with the
Zemo. That is Papa Avery. That's the Harvey Avery with the 99.99. That is the most I ever got.
That's your rich cousin?
That's nah, man. That's my dad, man.
Oh man,
thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Look forward to you guys weekly, man.
Coming through.
He like real talk. He compliments all of y'all each time. He has I should bring him on sometime because he has Larry be doing this, and then Eman be doing this, and Lamont be doing this, and yeah, man. Once he was saying, he was like, yeah, because he's pretty much in retirement. He was like, it was 9 o'clock in the morning, Brandon. It was nothing on TV, and I was just bored. I couldn't wait till 6:30 so I can see your show. And so Pops, I do appreciate it, man.
That is awesome.
Thank you so much.
Like dads matter.
Yeah. He's the man that made me who I am today. I'm very proud of him. He worked very hard. He is a textbook example of a provider, and hopefully I can measure up to half of who he became. So Pops, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And Mr. Avery, if you and your lovely wife are both watching, I'm working on Brandon to get him that vaccine.
Did we talk about that on air, or was it before the show started?
It was before the show.
He got on me yesterday. Brandon, stop BSing and get shot.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just gonna wait and stay at home and wear my mask, But anyway, so thank you, Pops. I do appreciate it. Love you, man. Love you. Lamont, was it on you, sir?
Yeah. I don't even know how I come behind $100. I mean, Jesus. Let me just say this. I was excited. I'm disappointed they're kicking it down the road. I didn't have to see the trench either, but James Wan was on it, and I like what he's done with horror. So I did want to see what machinations he was going to pull out of his brain, and that's how I was feeling on those behavior. But I mean, I don't know how to stand up behind $100, so I'm gonna stand up.
You're good, man.
I appreciate you, Papa Avery, man.
Yeah, appreciate it,
man.
I'm still tripping over here myself. Who's next? Is Larry? You next?
There we go.
Okay.
Man, you know how I feel, man. I have zero faith in DC when it comes to live action movies. Just zero.
Yeah,
if they're ditching it, I'm okay. Ditch it and then just make an animated series out of this. Let's just turn this thing into split it up and make it like an 8 episode animated series, and let's roll with that.
Put it on HBO Max.
Elliot.
What
you got, Elliot?
Man, it's I'll say this for many years, DC they sit on their hands. They don't know if Henry Cavill's Superman. They don't know if they want to do the Snyder cut. They don't know what they want to do. So I will applaud DC for making an announcement saying, "Hey, I don't want to, we're going to just dead this now. Of course, there's more opportunities in the future, but we're not going to be moving forward as of right now." So I applaud them for at least speaking on an IP that's been for 2-3 years. Ava DuVernay has been working on the script with Tom King, who is one of the comic book writers for the New Guys. So, hey, thank you, DC, for at least saying something, not just letting it just create a monster and hashtag release the New Gods or the Trench film and just having that narrative be created. So they at least are controlling the narrative. The second half of that is, this is something I want to see. New Gods, and this is not to make it Marvel versus DC, but Marvel kind of beats them to the punch with Jack Kirby's Eternals film, which is coming out later this year. And I don't know if that maybe got them a little bit nervous, like, oh damn, they beat us to the punch, as they, DC beat them to the punch with Wonder Woman versus, Marvel not having a female-led film until, Captain Marvel 2 years ago. So I think this might have had something to do with it. Like, we just don't want to confuse the audience. And I thought it was something I read that they said that they didn't want people to confuse seeing Darkseid and Snyder's world and thinking that's the same Darkseid that might be in Ava DuVernay's, which is stupid if that's the case, because you have 3 Batman in the Flash film. You have 2 Flashes going on in concurrent, and you have Supermans all over the place. I hope that's not why they canceled that film. But in regards to the Trench, when I heard that announcement, that just sounded like they literally made $1 billion and they just said, we need to do something with this world. James Wan's will be able to make a sequel for 3 years. We need to do something in this universe so we can do that. So I never had faith in that coming to light. But with that kind of being said, like Eman said, I am a huge James Wan fan. And what I love about what James Wan does is he not only creates great content, but he also gives people platforms to kind of be able to put themselves on the map, as he kind of built this camp with the Conjuring universe. David F. Sandberg, the director of Shazam 1 and 2. You have, Michael Chavez, who's going to be, I'm scared for the Conjuring 3, but I think he's going to give him that baby for he can maybe cross over to a big film. So I think James Wan, what he is doing is, don't be surprised if you hear some announcements of other James Wan projects, not maybe him behind the camera, but behind the scenes, bringing on these other creators to kind of bring in some new things like he's doing. He's the executive producer of Mortal Kombat. So, hey, James Wan, anything his name's attached to, I'm excited for. But The Trench, like I said, I never really had faith that was going to ever see the day of light. Very similar to the Trench people. They never see the light, hence that they're the monsters in the water. So but I wouldn't be surprised if James Wan has something else on his sleeve and he's attached to something on HBO Max in the coming years.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, let me give my 2 cents on this. And I'm kind of mirroring what Eman was saying in the beginning. But we got our sister right here, Ava DuVernay, and I don't want to crap all on her because she's done some great films like The 13th on Netflix.
Waistline in that photo, though, man. Jeez.
She right.
Put that back up. She was looking banging right there.
I put that up there for a reason. I was like, I was gonna say it, but I don't want to. She is fine as hell. She is a beautiful woman,
very beautiful,
and I love that she's covered up as well. You can still show what you have done in the gym and cover up. So I hope I don't offend nobody, but that's just how I feel. But yeah, she is gorgeous and very classy and intelligent and all that good stuff. But she did The 13th. She did Selma. And she did When They See Us. And I just said that to say, because with this news dropping, this is like some of the best news that has ever come out of Warner Brothers in a few years. I am thrilled that they're not moving forward with these 2 projects. This is music to my ears. I love Ava DuVernay, and everything I said about James Wan is true, but there are too many other movies in the DCEU that I want to see first before I see a Trench movie or a New Gods movie. And while Ava DuVernay is very talented, like y'all said, I just have no faith after The Wrinkle in Time. This movie was horrible. And I was rooting for it. I think that came out in 2018. It was was like one of my most anticipated of the year. It got like nobody else liked it. It's not just me. 42% critics, 20%, 26% of audience score is normally higher than the critics. Even that they hated it. It cost $103 million. No, the marketing was 103. The production was 90 million, and this is how much it made. Worldwide. So that's just to show how horrible it is. I don't mean to crap on Ava DuVernay, but this is just one reason why I'm happy with this news. Now, another thing that they said in the article that's very important is that they said that they're not just canceling the films. At the bottom, it says the projects will remain in their skillful hands if they were to move forward in the future. And so give us a Man of Steel 2, give us Justice League 2, give us a Flash origin film, Green Lantern Corps, Black Adam, all these other films that they've announced first. Take your time, and then let's get the New Gods and the Trench movies, and also let Ava DuVernay do something else with that has to do with effects before she takes this on, because I just don't feel like you can go from 13th, Selma, and When They See Us to a DC. I just don't see the jump. And I would like for her to, because of how bad this was, I just prefer to see her do something bigger than what she's done in the past, but smaller than DCEU, and then she can come back and do the New Gods. Because when we hear her talk about it, she is very passionate, and this is also what she said on Twitter. Tom and I love writing New Gods with you. I'm upset that the saga of Barter, Scott, Granny, Highfather, and the Furies ends this way. Diving into Kirby's fourth world was the adventure of a lifetime that can't be taken away. Thank you for your friendship. And remember, I think this says Dark Sidious. I could be wrong. But I can just tell that she has a passion about the project and the material. I just want her to get a bit more experience something with this bigger budget before she just dives in. So that's just how I feel about it.
I will say that in regards to, she still is doing a DC project. I think she's doing this Naomi or DMZ or something like that. She's doing like a DC HBO Max show. So to your point, she still is kind of still doing things within the DC world, but to kind of combat in regards to, building up the stable of sorts, building up the resume. History shows, I think of Chloe Chow. I just mentioned the Eternals, going from 2 independent No Man's Land, and I can't think of the first film she made. So there has been, there is some type of way from going from independent into the big blockbuster. I mean, James Wan for a very long time was doing small horror films before Fast and Furious, and obviously Aquaman came on his front door. So I think what I think this does is, hey, Ava DuVernay, let's see you do some DC work on TV, build that resume, build that, all that stuff, the fandom and a great show and being behind the scenes. And then in 4 or 5 years, let's talk New Gods and let's do it big. So
I forgot. Yeah, good point with Chloe Zhao, because it was released that they think Eternals is possibly the best MCU movie that ever did, and that's crazy. So good point there.
They say that. No, seriously. They say that about a lot of it.
Yeah. No, they don't. No, they don't.
I think what Kevin Feige said was the best script I think that he's read.
And it's what is pitched, what is written, and what is shot. And how it's edited are multiple different stages.
Yes, true. Sure.
Okay. Multiple different stages.
Okay.
I can imagine that's going to be better than Black Panther.
I honestly can. I honestly can.
And that's so funny. Bring up Black Panther. She was actually going to be. She was in the runner for Black Panther. Before
I remember. You're right. That's true. Yeah. She did turn that down. Man, I forgot all about that. You're right.
Okay with that.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Me too. I'm glad I brought this brother on. But let's go ahead, guys, and move on to topic number 6. And I'm laughing because this is just funny to me. Right here.
There we go.
What's going on?
Another one.
Oh,
there we go.
British money for the European movie.
Really? Oh, okay. Strictly Starlight. That's what's up. Hold on.
1999 pounds. What's that, like $200?
What a money reside. What a money reside. What a money reside. What a money reside. Okay, I'll tell you before you.
Thank you so much, Strictly Starlight, for Knives Out 4. Perfect topics, great debates. Good job, fellas. Thank you so much.
Knives Out 4.
Thank you. I really do appreciate it.
You better make that pitch.
Make it, man.
I already. Well,